Hi, this is Owen Thornton and this is my video blog which corresponds with my webblog at ontariocrafts.wordpress.com. I want to tell you a little story today about a tasting that we had for friends who love the California Cab Sauvs. And again, we were trying to replace those Cab Sauvs with something that they would enjoy. And one of the problems was with our tasting is we forgot something very important, and that's going to come a little bit later. I want to tell you a little bit about the two wines that we selected for us. So we had a Marquette from Dark, Dark Horse in Grand Bend. And we had a Cabernet Franc from Cooper's Hawk uh, from Harrow, Ontario. So one was from the emerging region of Huron County, and the other one was from the Erie North Shore appellation here in Ontario. Both should be suitable candidates for replacements for Cabernet Sauvignon from California. They have a lot of fruit-forward nature to them, a lot of berry flavors, very little tannin on the finish, like a good Cab Sauv coming out of California. Now, the Marquette from Dark Horse was roughly a $30 bottle, and the Cab Franc from Cooper's Hawk was found on the shelf of the local retailer, of Ontario retailer of beer, wine, and spirits, and it was a $20 bottle. So perhaps not quite a fair comparison, but as I said, both wines should be able to compete. The goal then was to have a small serving of each, like a 1 ounce tasting of each, to taste those, and then they're going to get a 5 ounce glass. So overall, the whole tasting, there was going to be 7 ounces of alcohol consumed, and over the course of an hour and a half, 2 hour visit, the driver would be able to go home safe and sound without fear of driving inebriated. We tasted one, we tasted the other, and all the people drinking the Reds of that event decided that they liked the Marquette better. The Cab Franc was not displeasing, it just wasn't as full flavored as the Marquette. So, tasting of the Cab Franc, tasting of the Marquette, and then everybody selected the Marquette. I should say that in the tasting of these things, we should talk about Marquettes and Cab Francs a little bit. Marquette is a hybridized grape that we grow here in Ontario. It is not a replacement for Cabernet Sauvignon, but it has similar qualities in that it is fruit forward with low tannins on the finish that we can grow here, where if we grew Cab Sauv, the vines could be damaged by winter kill every year, making that very difficult to be prosperous. So the Marquette is a hybridized grape that allows it to survive through the wintertime year over year, and still has a Cab Sauv-esque kind of taste profile. The Cabernet Franc we don't hear much about from Europe. Cab Francs are often in blends with Cabernet Sauvignons and Bordeaux Cabernet Sauvignons and Merlots. We don't see it typically coming out of Europe as a single varietal. It grows exceptionally well here, and you must remember that Cab Franc is one of the two parents of Cabernet Sauvignon. Cab Franc and Sauvignon Blanc are the parents of Cabernet Sauvignon. So Cab Franc should have elements of the child that came out from that happy marriage. So again, it should be a good qualifier for the taste profile that we're looking for. So we enjoy the Marquette, the evening is over. And of course, I'm not throwing the Cab Franc away. I put the cap back on the bottle and set it aside for a glass the next night. Well, here's where the story gets interesting. That Cab Franc the next day was sensational. And the only difference was the overnight of about this much space in the top of the bottle where there was oxygen. So, here's the thing that we forgot to try to do. You can place an aerator in the bottle, and that will immediately introduce some air into your bottle and into the wine that goes into your glass, and that will change the taste and the profile. I should say that I think one of the things that people didn't like about this Cab Franc was that it was a little light-bodied. And the amazing thing was is that the wine not only became richer in flavor, but the body was just incredible. It was a really great glass of wine on the next night. So, one thing I could have done was I could have immediately introduced some air by using this, sticking it in the glass. And I'm going to do something else that I've never done before. I'm going to interject some other shots, and I'm going to show you this how this works out of the bottle when I go inside under more controlled lighting conditions. The other thing we could have done is we could have decanted it. We could have poured it in here, splashed it in nice and good, nice and loose. You know, let the air come into it. The wine sits down here, and then it pours out the top. And we could have decanted that for an hour, 2 hours, and that probably would have done the same thing as this much space in the top of a bottle overnight. And if you don't have either the immediate decanter, the decanter or the aerator, then what you can do to just simply introduce oxygen to your wine to allow it to change its nature for the better is to just splash it into the glass from a distance, from a height. It's a little risky with the red, of course, with a little bit of splash factor. But you can just pour it in a little bit higher and get it nice and splashed into the glass, and then just fill it to here and let that sit in your glass even for 15, 20 minutes, and that will change the nature of your wine. So that was the lesson that we learned, and that we have done before. We've decanted, we've used the aerator, we've even done the splash in the glass technique, and it does change your wine significantly, and it can change your wine within an hour, a matter of hours. Now, there are some really, really tight, bold reds out there. Spanish reds would qualify for that, and some Italian reds would qualify. Some of these black grapes that they use, we wouldn't necessarily know the names of them. They'd be combinations of black grapes or even just single varietals. Especially the Spanish types, they can be exceedingly tannic. And one of the ways that you can ease up on those tannins is to, again, do these three things. What was really interesting to me one day as I was listening to a product consultant at one of Ontario's beer, wine, and spirits retailers uh, was that she said if you have this wine, you decant that in the morning for consumption at night. So decanting can take a matter of many hours depending on how tannic, how bold that red actually is. Now, the one we're talking about would have sufficed by about an hour or two in a decanter, a splash test in the glass, or through the aerator. But those are some things that you can think about when you're trying to duplicate Cabernet Sauvignons from California and you're using Cab Franc from Ontario, or you're using a Marquette, or the third choice, which we could have used and didn't in this instance, a nice, beautiful Baco Noir. So those are the three things that you can, again, use to substitute from your California Cab Sauvs. And there's a technique that you can use to take the Ontario wines to an entire new level. This is my backyard. I'm going to leave you with a shot of this as I walk away. And I want you to have a great day. And again, if you like this, hit the like button. Thanks very much. Bye for now.